Hey guys, welcome to Friday morning, and it is super dark still outside here at the moment because of daylight savings. So welcome to our Friday live mornings, and really excited to chat today about overcoming the I'll be happy when syndrome. And I think so many people fall into this, including myself. I can definitely put my hand up and say, I've definitely been there from time to time. I'm now becoming more and more consciously aware of when that's actually happening and when I'm creating that for myself, which is kind of like this long-term happiness that we put off or we feel like we can't experience until such and such happens. So this might be, for most people, it's kind of like, I'll be happy when I'm finally making enough money, or I'll be happy when I finally met the right person, or hey Alison, great to have you on here, hon. Or I'll be happy when this happens in my life, or when the kids finally leave home, or when I can get my life back on track, or when I've finally got my goal weight and I'm weighing this amount, or when I finally experience this particular thing. And it can really be so challenging as well for us when we're living this way, because our day-to-day happiness is diminished so fast, and it doesn't feel good to be in this space, because it's like we're working so hard, or we're doing all these things to try and get to some place far off in the distance, rather than being able to enjoy the present moment and what's actually happening right now. And as I'm sure all of you guys are aware, if you've tuned into any of my stuff for a while now, you'll know I'm very much goal orientated. I'm very much about what do you want to create, what do you want your life to be about. Are you living your purpose? Are you living your passion? Are you creating the money and the financial freedom that you want? Are you taking great care of your health and well-being? So I'm definitely also focused on the distant stuff, but when we make it a requirement or a must to have already experienced that now in order for us to be happy, we rob ourselves from living day to day in the happiness and the joy. Because guess what? When you get there in the future, when you finally get that goal, there'll be something else. And so then again, we put off our own happiness, we put off our own joy, thinking, oh, it's just another thing that I need to obtain. Or worse still, we realize that we've had our ladder of success on the wrong building, and when we get to the top, we feel completely unfulfilled, even though we may have felt like we've worked so hard for so many years that it just doesn't feel good, and we feel so ripped off and generally pretty angry when we've got to that state as well. And so one of the biggest keys to this is the be, do, and have paradigm, as opposed to I need to do something first to finally have something so I can finally be happy. And we need to flip that around, because what actually happens is a lot of people get really hooked into well, if only I worked harder, or if only I did more of this or more of that, then finally I could have this particular thing so I can finally be a particular way. And so when we flip that paradigm around, what it does, it opens everything up in a massive way. And what I've truly learned is that success is an inside job. And I know that sounds really corny, and it's probably been said by I don't know how many other really super successful people. But it really is. Every single time I've done the inner work and changed my mindset, changed my thinking, changed my beliefs, moved through previous limitations, like I can't have that particular thing, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not deserving enough, every single time I'm up-leveled and moved through that and created expansion inside through shifting some of those limiting beliefs, then it's made it not only much easier to access joy and happiness in the moment, because I'm coming from a place of already being that particular way, but it also leads to really aligned action steps which actually take you to that particular place easier and quicker, and attract the circumstances and the opportunities that allow for that to conspire and fall into place so much easier than ever before. So a really great example of this is being healthy. It's something I think most people are very conscious of, whether they're actively working on that or they think that they should or they must. But, most people are pretty conscious around their health. And, of course, with all of the diseases of inflammation and everything else these days, more and more people are affected in their life because of our health. And I think our health, for me, it's my number one priority above being a mum, above being a business person, above everything. Because if I don't have my health, if I'm not taking care of my health, then I can't show up in the world in the way that I choose to or the way that I wish to be. And it affects so many areas of our life as well. Obviously, our relationships, how much, if we can get work done. Hey, Andrew, great to have you on here. If we can get work done, if we're, just following through with particular things, if we don't have the energy, if we don't have the physical vitality in order to show up and really experience life at a great level, then that's definitely going to impact things as well. So what actually happens is most people put their happiness off, or their health and their well-being off, by simply saying, when I'm finally healthy, or when I finally have the energy, then I'll go and exercise, or then I will go and take care of my body, or then, I'll be able to feel good about myself, or then I'll feel confident. But then what actually happens is, because they don't feel confident, or because they're already not feeling like they're a healthy person, the actions that they take aren't aligned with being a healthy person. So if they're not feeling confident, I feel a bit embarrassed about going to the gym, so I'm not going to go to the gym. Or I feel so unhealthy, or I feel so yuck in my body. And so then, we might go comfort eat, or we might go do something like that that's detrimental to our health and well-being, as opposed to aligned with our health and well-being and taking us there. So when we put our health and happiness off by saying, when I finally reach my goal weight, then I can love myself, then I can take care of myself, then I'll feel good about myself, that's when we need to really flip it on its head and go, if I was already that goal weight, how would I feel? What would I believe to be true? What would I know? And then what would my aligned action steps now be from this place of already being healthy? Because we're changing the identity on the inside. Therefore, our action steps come from a place of being aligned, as opposed to I have to, or I need to, or I should, or I must, which is ego and struggle and effort energy, as opposed to, hey, I'm a healthy person, I love myself, I take care of myself, therefore I just naturally eat really great salads, and I take myself for a walk because I feel good about myself, I go to the gym because I feel confident. And we reverse engineer it, and it doesn't matter whether it's health, it doesn't matter whether it's finance, it doesn't matter whether it's relationships, everything that you think that you can get from that particular thing. And that's the only reason why we buy stuff, why we want to do things or have experiences, is because we believe it will make us feel a particular way when we finally get there. And we're putting off our happiness every single day. When we come back to, who do I now choose to be today? Do I choose to be grateful? Do I choose to be happy? Do I choose to be joyful? And I know that sounds simplistic, because sometimes we've got a lot of stuff going on in life, and believe me, I've been there in some really tough circumstances for myself as well. And it can really feel annoying, or even make you feel angry. Like, I know that's how I felt when somebody says, well, it's a choice. But at the end of the day, it actually really is, because it's like how you're choosing to perceive your circumstance or your experience will affect the way that you then respond to it, and the level of responsibility that you now take for being in that circumstance, which means what is the action that you can now take moving forward to change that for yourself. But it must come from inside first, and it always comes from who we're actually being. If you want to experience more passion in life, then it's about, when we come from that place of who do I now choose to be, I choose to be successful. And feeling successful is nothing more than tapping into either a past time when you felt successful, or imagining, what is it that successful people feel? How do they stand? How do they breathe? What do they think about? And what is the actions that they now take? When we feel successful, we're moving forward, we're taking actions. When we tell ourselves, I'm a failure, or I'm not enough, or I'm just no good at this, we're instructing our mind in the moment in how we need to show up, or we're telling ourselves who we're actually being. We're being a failure, we're being not enough, and therefore that is the result that we end up creating. Now, when we come from that place of who do I now choose to be, I choose to be, even if we twist it around slightly to make it feel a little bit easier to access, I now choose to look forward to being more confident. And that's a slightly easier way to actually make it feel a little bit more believable, because if we tell ourselves, I'm now confident, generally, if we've not experienced that for a little while, then the mind will reject that as well. So the mind will just be like, no, that's not true. And then we tend to end up feeling worse than what we actually did in the beginning. So when we can say, I'm looking forward to feeling a bit healthier, I'm looking forward to feeling a little bit more well in myself, I'm looking forward to, hey Carl, it's great to have you on here, honey. When we can tap into all of those things, it brings us back to who we're being in the moment. And it's like, today I'm going to be just that little bit happier, or I choose to be just that little bit healthier, or I choose to be that little bit more grateful. And as we do that, we start to create this beautiful upward cycle of our physical energy, our emotional energy, our mental energy, which then impacts our results. And we then step into the doingness from that space of feeling inspired and encouraged, as opposed to pushed or have to or need to, because if I don't get there, then I'm not going to get to experience the feeling that I want to as well. Hey Anne, great to have you on here. So guys, if this is resonating, please let me know through some love hearts, or if you've got any questions around this as well, please let me know, because it's super important. I think so many people experience this level of pain. And like I said at the start, it's definitely something that I'm really conscious of and sometimes still fall back into. However, I'm more and more aware of, I'm putting off my happiness again. I'm attached to the outcome and the expectation and the results, as opposed to the joy of doing what it is that I'm doing. And when we can get to that space where it's like, I'm being happy, or I'm being grateful today, let me do something to express that in who I'm actually being. That's where the true joy and the true fulfillment comes up. And when we're doing that from a place of it's aligned with our values and who we believe that we truly are, not what our ego mind thinks we should be, or need to be, or have to be. And this is where the whole thing generally gets quite derailed, is because our heart knows, our soul knows internally who we actually really are, that we are amazing, that we are whole, we are complete, we are perfect, we are lovable, and continuing to grow and expand, just like a beautiful flower bud, where we're incomplete, but we're complete in the moment as well. And it's like this paradigm that we can get a little bit lost in with our ego mind, because our ego mind looks around at the external world and the functions of the ego, when you know that that's coming out to play, or the survival mind, is that there is judgment. So judgment on yourself or judgment on others. It's critical, so it criticizes either yourself or others. It blames either yourself or others. It withdraws from others generally, and it also justifies. So if you find yourself defending, blaming, criticizing, justifying, or withdrawing, they are functions of the ego and the survival mind trying to protect itself and trying to trying to stay safe. So when we notice that, when we put our hand on our heart and we come back and it's like, okay, who am I going to choose to be today, from my soul, from my heart, from who I know that I really am inside? And even if the mind is still, it's really attached to, no, you need to get this done, or you need to get that done, or if I don't do this, then I'm not enough, or I'm not worthy enough, or I'm not deserving enough, or I'm not a good enough mum, or good enough dad, or good enough this, or good enough that. All of those things can really make it really quite tricky as well. So when we come back to that beingness, our heart, our soul, and let go of the mind chatter, and as you do this over time, so this was not something that I was able to click my fingers and get straight away. At first, it was like 30-second blocks where I'd feel the intention or the love coming from my soul, and then it expanded into like 1 or 2 minute blocks, and now I can sit very comfortably in a meditation each morning and really access the beautiful wisdom and inner guidance of my soul every single day, and actually align my ego mind and survival mind with my soul, so that my soul is actually the thing that's actually expressing itself the most. And in that space, I have true peace, true contentment, true fulfillment in every moment. And then my ego mind, my survival mind, it's a great tool, but it's a terrible master. And when we let it drive the bus, that's where we get derailed very quickly, because it will have rules and judgments on who it thinks that we need to be in order to be loved and accepted. So it makes it really, really tricky. So hey Keela, great to have you on here, darling. So I hope that that's been helpful in understanding how to overcome, the I'll be happy when syndrome. It really comes back to who you choose to be every single day. And I would even journal on that statement, write down, I now choose to be these particular aspects, and think, okay, if I was choosing my emotions, hey Mary, great to have you on here. If I was choosing these particular emotions, then what would I be doing? And choose to do whatever it is that you're doing from a place of joy, from a place of gratitude, from a place of love and joy in the world, which will only go on to expand and create greater fulfillment, greater presence in every single moment, which allows you to be happy, which then naturally and easily more attracts the results that you want, where you can just joyfully have whatever it is that you're actually wanting in the moment, as opposed to, I have to do this so I can get that, so I can finally be happy or be comfortable or relax or feel whatever it is that you're wanting to feel. So just remember, every single thing that you do every single day, or everything that you believe that you need, whether it's future stuff or in the moment, will only come back to a feeling that you're wanting to create in yourself. And when you allow yourself to access that feeling first, everything else just lines up. I'm glad this is resonating, Mary. So you may want to jump back to the start, hun, and just tune into the start when I finish as well, because I think that you'll find some valuable information in there as well, where I talk about the be, do, have paradigm, as opposed to the have, do, be, which is where we feel like we've got to we've got to do something to have something to be something. I got that mixed up. So have an amazing Friday, everyone, and I wish you guys an amazing weekend as well. And our sun is starting to come up. It's starting to get light in the background, which is beautiful. So have an amazing rest of your day. Lots of love to you all, and I'll speak with you guys next Friday. Bye for now.